Tell Lao Mo that I don't dare to fish anymore, especially going to the North Pole. Socrates said, I know that I don't know. Reincarnation is a phenomenon that science cannot prove or deny. But there are many concrete examples. All movement is cyclical. The concept of matter was eliminated due to the development of physics at the beginning of the last century. And materialism faced a serious crisis. It was Lenin who replaced matter with objective reality and saved and developed materialism. So is the soul an objective reality? Unknown. Visible matter only accounts for a tiny percentage of the universe, so there are a variety of possibilities. Science has only developed on the Earth for about 200 years. But the universe is infinitely long and vast, containing all kinds of possibilities, and very little is known to science. As of the end of 2021, my country's total population is 1.412 billion. And the national employed population is 746 million, accounting for 52% of the total population. Among them, the secondary industry employs 217 million people. That is, employees in the electronic information manufacturing industry, 7.84 million, account for 3.6% of the total industrial employment population. According to data from the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, about 80% of the world's personal computers and more than 65% of smartphones and color TVs will be produced domestically in 2021. In 2021, there were 8.09 million employees in my country's software and information technology service industry, from the website of the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. According to World Bank population data, Thailand's population in 2021 is 71.6 million and Malaysia's population is 33.57 million. It is obvious that the population size of the two cannot fully undertake the mainland's electronic information manufacturing industry, even if the two work together. Based on the conservative population of 227 million mentioned above, the gap will still be about 105 million. Add in Vietnam, which just had a population of over 100 million, and still has a population short of 5 million. It can be said without a doubt that no country in the world today has the ability to completely replace Chinese industries. Industrial software, the transformation of China's manufacturing industry. Bronze birdplate. My old arrangement surprised even my boss. I said, I go by the book, which number, and so on. The boss said, can it still be like this? I'll come next time too. Khamenei pointed out, the most effective way to achieve comprehensive peace in the Caucasus is to prioritize the 3+3 negotiations involving Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Russia, Turkey, and Iran. Russia also reacted negatively to the drills and summoned Armenia's ambassador to Moscow. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov said he did not expect any good results from the exercise. Russia also said the drills were concerning and urged Armenia to respect its obligations under the Collective Security Treaty Organization, CSTO, a military alliance led by Moscow. Rumors surrounding a possible test flight of the H-20 stealth bomber have been circulating since 2019. As this year's 4th of July celebrations approach, whispers on Rabbit's social media suggest the highly anticipated bomber may finally take to the skies at the national event. Dalmau Media claims that the H-20 has a range of nearly 15,000 kilometers and a payload of more than 25 tons. However, these figures somewhat contradict earlier speculation, which put the H-20's maximum takeoff weight at between 150 and 200 tons, with a payload capacity of close to 45 tons. The discrepancy has sparked debate among defense experts around the world. In the past 10 years, Zhao Benzi has been making rapid progress on the path of Taiwan involvement. This former colonizer of Taiwan actually said in the new version of the National Security Strategy issued at the end of last year, "Peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait are indispensable factors for the security and prosperity of the international community." Isn't provoking trouble plus framing the trick the little devils used during the September 18th incident? It is impossible for Taiwan to be independent in the first place. It is either a province of China or a prefecture of Japan. The liberation of Taiwan and the fall of Japan have been linked since ancient times and cannot be separated. Director Cheng then Ryukyu will return too, right? In 2003 and 2004, we knew that China would sooner or later promote the return of Ryukyu. Objectively speaking, territorial changes in the international community are quite difficult, and it cannot be done without the situation becoming unstable to a certain extent. That was when I thought that seeing a .1x war in my lifetime was almost a certainty. Now it is finally time to wait for Russia and Ukraine, 17 or 18 years. It's easy for me. Japan's reason for competing for the Diaoyu Islands is that the Diaoyu Islands and the Ryukyu Islands are one. I said at the time that this reason could be kept, and I would not know which fish it was fishing for in the future. What about the 4 northern islands? The North must first remove the Korean peninsula. Historically, the Kingdom of Korea has been our most powerful vassal, no one. In the final analysis, it was separated from China after the defeat of the Sino-Japanese War of 1884 to 1894, cut off by Japan. And now it has become a vassal of the United States. On June 25, 2023, Trump said in a speech in Michigan, USA, "I am the only president of the United States who has not launched a war in 70 years. Floods in Libya kill more than 11,000 people, so you have to step down. Why does the military-industrial complex like you?" The American strategist said that the current battle is a stalemate and a struggle for endurance. The current battle for cities and territories is not the purpose. It depends on who loses the stalemate, and the winner initiates the final struggle. He said that the current ratio between Russian and Ukrainian citizens is 4 to 1. Ukraine's future is not good. China uses China's own judgment standards as its authority, not foreign ones. And foreign ones. These people will not stand for their own country and will not serve their own country. Nowadays, many intellectual elites have become other people's people, and many of them are packed by others. The casualties of active attackers are much greater than those of defenders. He said that the current Russian strategy is correct. Russia is now ready for a long war. The United States originally wanted to use Ukraine to consume Russia half to death before ending. Now it seems that they have also been consumed by Ukraine and have no chance to end. Because the United States still wants to drag China into the war. It must retain some combat power. The Russo-Ukrainian War can be regarded as the prelude to the Third World War. If the Russo-Ukrainian War is not successful, it will only freeze the war and never end. War in other places will not last long. In short, the world has entered war mode, Zelensky said. Our counterattack has failed. We have suffered heavy losses throughout the whole process. Our troop resources are getting smaller and smaller. It can be said that Ukraine has no troops available, so this war is not a happy one for us. The opportunity has come. Fans in the group follow up. Now all the countries in the world except Western countries that follow the United States hate the United States. An anti-US alliance is now forming. We should vigorously open up America's backyard and the Middle East. Russia is doing it in Africa. Western countries are united when facing non-Western countries. And the struggle between the East and the West is a protracted war. Now that Biden is facing internal and external troubles, he will definitely not be able to hold on for a few more days. The anti-American alliance is mainly dominated by China and Russia. Russia dares to fight, China is desperately developing, and the United States is extremely anxious and has gone crazy. Stalemate is peace 600,000 versus 600,000. Generally, the attacker should have 3 times the enemy's strength to launch an attack. Even if the Russia-Ukraine war ends, it will not be a lasting peace. This article is nonsense and is full of the flavor of sowing discord between China, Russia and North Korea. The whole article dominates the thinking of a go. Who is afraid that North Korea will cause trouble for him? This cowardly thinking should stop. Tolerance will only bring more troubles. Only by using North Korea to continuously attack the United States can we obtain the other party's compromise. This is the wisdom and courage that a big country should have. Instead of fearing that North Korea will offend the United States and cause trouble to itself. It's really, the world has undergone unprecedented changes. While Russia still had control of the air, its troops were evenly matched and they were suppressed. The Russian generals' command skills were really poor. At Hu Zeping, they are all kneeling people. It is already good for Russia to fight against the entire NATO. A stalemate means giving and taking in local battlefields. There is no need to magnify. Stop talking about fighting NATO on your own. Yes, it was the brave Russia that created the situation and broke the situation of the United States. If NATO really supports Ukraine like China supported North Korea, only then can we settle in RMB. Russia has long been forced to drop nuclear bombs. NATO sending troops would be a thermonuclear war. Russia does not have air supremacy. NATO is detecting Russia in all directions, constantly providing information to Ukraine, and attacking Russia's protruding troops. There are also many people in Russia who have been bribed by the United States. The newly captured pilot was bought for $500,000. The United States spends a lot of money to buy traitors in Target countries. NATO's weapons and troops have been deployed for a long time now. But both sides have a tacit understanding and deliberately pretend not to know. The NATO weapons industry chain has been lost and currently does not have the ability to provide sufficient ammunition and weapons. When the Europeans change their clothes, they are all Ukrainian soldiers. The entire US ammunition production is not enough for Ukraine to use for a month. Ordinary ammunition has long been invested on a large scale, and South Korea has produced a lot of it. It's just that there is no large-scale dispatch of relatively well-known and outstanding NATO weapons, such as Panther tanks, such as the Kores series of fighter jets, etc. The Russia-Ukraine scene was a melting pot for testing weapons. Some weapons are just bullshit on the battlefield. This is how Russia talks about the weapons of Western countries, which are just bragging and have no practicality.